kids see it? You see where Bulgaria is? Started to gather together just to meet and, you know, make connections with home. And they met in a building that was across the street from where we are now, owned by Lambe Markov. And the Lambe had an apartment building. And these men used to gather there and meet, and informally, first of all, until, you know, 1930, when they officially then created the Bulgarian Macedonian Beneficial Association. And in 1936, they built the building that we're in today.
Lambe, when he started this club, being Macedonian, it was called the Bulgarian Macedonia Club. Not the Macedonian Bulgarian, but the Bulgarian Macedonia. And anybody who knows anything about the Balkans, they fight constantly. But here in this club, there is no politics. This was a politically free area where the Bulgarians and Macedonians got along and could enjoy really the beauty of the dancing, the songs, the food, just what it meant to them, what the old country meant to them.
Wished I could only bring back some of the characters we had in this club. And most of them came from West Hampton Bacon Company that finish up their routes, and especially Christmas, that come back to the club and end up in that back room and play cards from the time they came in till early morning of the next day.
They had everything going on imaginable. It was open 7 days a week. Something was going on all the time. One weekend there would be a vecherenka. The next weekend there would be a drama presented. Then in about the early 1990s, we knew that a change had to come, and we now have the mission to preserve and perpetuate the culture and traditions of the Bulgarians and Macedonians. This is our purpose, and this is what we do. We have now a museum, a library, we have a wonderful art collection, we have a wonderful children's program where we teach our children to dance, language, and crafts. We have our performing group, and we have, you know, the physical facility where we have the events going on. Some of the programs are a children's program, bringing children to this center, telling them about Bulgaria, teaching them a song, letting them taste the food, teaching them a dance. These were geared to middle school children.
It was really fun to learn about Bulgarian culture because I know a lot about European countries, but I really didn't know much about Bulgaria or Macedonia. I didn't know that Macedonia was actually at one time part of Bulgaria, and it was really fun to learn about it.
Well, my name is Dominique, and I learned about a new country I didn't even know existed in Europe, and it's very cool to learn about the alphabet, their language, and the way they dance, and it's a very interesting culture to learn about.
They had a lot of jewelry, belt buckles and earrings and bracelets that shake, and they had a lot of dance moves and different languages and different alphabets than we do. I really think it's nice to learn about.
But this past year, for example, we had visitors from 44 states and 25 countries.
Let me tell you a little bit about our collections. Our museum collection, for example, is a very, very vast and large one. Artifacts that are woodworks, artifacts that are metal in nature. It includes original costumes of many varieties and designs. It includes icons, and it includes things like that ornamental jewelry that we acquired from Dr. Helen Mamarchev, which is exquisite and which is precious, which is probably the only one of its kind in the entire Western Hemisphere. The library contains a highly specialized collection of books, materials dealing with Bulgarian and Macedonian items and themes.
Welcome, I'm George Schexnayder, the Activities Director here at the Bulgarian Macedonian Center. And you're in the dance hall, which is a very popular place for weekly dances here. It has an excellent wooden dance floor, one of the best in the Pittsburgh area, and can seat up to about 150 people. Depending on the weekend you arrive, we have Cajun dancing, salsa dancing, Eastern European dancing, Zydeco dancing, oldies and blues. So you can come to our dances, and if you don't know how to do any of these things, such as a Cajun two-step or an Eastern European chest, or on these other dances, there's a 1-hour dance lesson at the beginning of every dance we hold here.
In 1956 was a very important year for our organization. That was the year that the Pittsburgh Folk Festival was starting, and 7 groups started it, and we were one of the 7 that were asked to join it. That's when our dance group officially became known as the Bulgarian Nationality Group, Otec Spiardi. The first director, our first artistic director, dance teacher, was my brother, Nick Jordanoff, and Nick ran our group, taught our group for years.
The social aspects develop because as dancers you develop a bond like athletes do, and then your family grows, you have children and your children become friends with their children, and it's kind of a bond that keeps you coming back.
I started performing in junior Tammys when I was 9, and I really fell in love with the intricate music and sounds and rhythms of Bulgarian music and dance at a very early age.
When my sisters were born, when I was born, when you could walk, you're in the Bulgarian group, you were dancing around age 3 or 4, you know, we all started. The Bulgarian rhythms with the 9/8 and the 16/8 and the topan drum, and it's just a driving type of music that nothing against the other cultures, they just don't have it. They just don't have it. People go to the folk festival to see the Bulgarians.
I don't consider myself a specialist in Bulgarian folk dance, but I am a movement person by training, and I've had a great enjoyment over a number of years working with the young people at the center and helping them be in touch with something of Bulgarian culture. So that's source of, I think, fun for them, and also great enjoyment for me to be part of keeping them connected to their cultural heritage, whether they're born in Bulgaria, born here in Pittsburgh with Bulgarian roots, or young people who are just simply interested in the dance.
I would love to see a lot more children join, and of course adults as well, join the Bulgarian Center, and most importantly the ensemble, because the folklore is part of nation's history, and what better way to learn about Bulgarian history but through folklore. It's entertaining, it's fun, it's interesting and challenging.
The Bulgarians are always the best dressed at the folk festival. I think we are the most dramatic with the sets that they perform and the authenticity of the costumes. I don't know of any group that wears costumes that come directly from those countries. And so that's one thing that we take pride in, between, you know, the shirts and the chemises and the shifts and the shoes and the socks and the aprons and the necklaces, and there's just so many pieces to keep track of that it's really nice that they all have their own home now here at the club.
I'm originally from Bulgaria. I've been here 10 years, so it is very important to me that my kids follow the culture, that they're exposed to everything that I've grown up with. And the only place in Pittsburgh that you could do that is the club, because there's so many families, there's so many kids they can socialize with and learn the things that I learned when I was a kid.
Well, we adopted our children back in 2001, 3 of them anyway, 3 of the 7 that we have now. The fourth one from Bulgaria came in 2004 when he was 2 years old. But we wanted to keep them connected to the culture and heritage of Bulgaria. Everybody knows they came with music and dance and song in their heart, and we wanted to keep that spirit alive within them. And what better place to do it than the Bulgarian Macedonia Center?
At Easter, around Easter time, our mom comes into our class and she teaches them how to make margaritas. And so we make them a class, and also we do the egg cracking to see who lasts the longest. We have a fun time.
It was very important for me and my sis to learn more about our history, and we were very, very impressed by the fact that there was a Bulgarian club here. I mean, we didn't have as much of an appreciation for it because obviously we lived there in Bulgaria, but when we came here and we saw all these people who were dedicated to keeping the culture, you know, by dancing, by keeping all these old items, it was very interesting, and we met some really nice people here, and we learned to appreciate our culture more.
In 1998, we were looking for some funding to help support some of our activities. So I thought, okay, soup, what a great project. It's not halushki, it's not pierogi, it's not fish, it's not like anybody else does. So I thought, okay, we'll sell soup.
When Pat came to us about this soup idea, and we all thought it was really genius, all us ladies. And so we all got together in the hot month of August and cooked soup for weeks. That first Saturday, the ladies were here selling soup, and the people came and came and came, and we sold everything, every quart we had. We try to make our soups low fat, low salt. We like to appeal to the vegetarians, to people who have gluten issues or dairy issues. So we really tried to keep in mind that our soups are filling a need in the marketplace and in people's lives.
Every Saturday morning I come and I sell soup. I've been able to meet people from all over the world doing that, and it's been a real joy. All right, here you go, Fred. Here's your receipt.
Thank you.
Here's your soup. Enjoy. Have a good week.
Thank you. We'll see you in a couple weeks when I'm back for some more soup. Been coming here for soup ever since they opened. It's wonderful soup, and I've become friends with the folks that are in charge of selling it, and I really look forward to coming here every couple weeks to get some soup and get some gavache, which is the beef stew. It's the closest I've ever found to what my mother used to make, and the chicken and dumpling soup is good matzo ball soup too.
So whether you want Bulgarian soup or any one of our other ethnic specials, please come down soon to try. Look how hot and yummy that looks. Perfect.
So we've been very fortunate that we've aligned ourselves and partnered with people like Rivers of Steel, the Allegheny County Regional Asset District, with the borough, with some of the cultural groups that we connect with. What it's done is opened up many doors for our organization.
We've had a long relationship with the center, and it is one of the liveliest cultural organizations in town and has been for many years. Amazing what it's accomplished over these decades that we've been together with them. We helped provide a facade grant when they wanted to restore their 75-year-old building in West Homestead, and they enlivened the facade when they did that. This group is always looking for means to attract attention to its own cultural heritage.
If you looked at percentages, the amount of money that we have given to them is probably under 10 or 15% of the total money that they were able to raise from that. And that's what a good organization is capable of doing. We bring people here and their jaws drop.
We have to now today look at what we're going to do as far as improving the borough, bringing in cultural centers like this. This brings in visitors, this brings in all kinds of people, and we're so happy and proud to be able to work with the Bulgarian Club. We need them. We need them very much because they're one of the viable forces that we have in this area.
Well, the first thing that makes this special is the people. I mean, volunteer organizations like this are aplenty throughout a region, but it's hard to find a volunteer organization where the people are really passionate about it. I mean, when I say it, that's not saying other organizations don't have passionate people, but there's so few people, and you get tired as a volunteer, and a lot of times that organization starts to fray at the edges and fall apart. That's not the case here. I see a longevity here, beyond the 80 or 90 or 100 years that it's already existed. I see it really not ever going away, and that's a great thing about this place.
But it always takes people to move an idea and a project forward. And this is why in those 80 years there have always been real people behind the name of the Bulgarian Macedonian Cultural Center. The center now is a very advanced institution. I can say that it's the best in terms of tradition, in terms of all sorts of archives and collections, in terms of programs, in terms of community outreach. And you must take my word for that, because in almost 7 years that I spent here as ambassador, I did tour this country extensively, and I did meet the Bulgarian community in so many different places throughout America.
There's so many fond memories that I have, especially in this club.
My memories are of good times here. We all were close friends. We were like brothers and sisters.
We depend on each other even today. And it's amazing that you go back to the same people, because this is what this gave us. Yeah. It gave us a family.
I couldn't think of any finer thing that I could give my kids is for them to know something from where I came from.
I'm just very fortunate that we have such a wonderful place to come to.
When the music gets going and the hair stands up on my arms, that's my dad looking on from up above, and he's right there next to me. So those are memories that'll continue and that I hope to pass on to future generations of our family, and that are irreplaceable in my mind.
Now here we are at our 80th anniversary, and we are doing what our ancestors wanted us to do. We are preserving and perpetuating our culture and traditions. Where we're going from now is just as exciting. The Borough of West Homestead is developing a town center, and we are the focal point of it. And to me, this is so important because the community is reviving itself, and we're so much a part of it, and that's where we're going, and we hope that we'll go another 80 years.